Hi and welcome back to my channel, Covert Stitches. My name is Katie and today I am going to be doing my first WIP parade. Generally I like to not have too many WIPs, and now that I'm sitting here with them all around me, it is a little bit much. So I am going to be trying to finish things and not start a ton of new things unless kind of finished something else or I'm getting really close to finishing something else. And some of my WIPs are actually also very close to being done, which also helps. So I'm going to start with my cross stitch and needlework WIPs and then move into my knitting WIPs. So for cross stitch and needlework, I'm pretty sure I have what I'm considering 6 WIPs. We'll talk about that a little bit. Kind of depends how you count. But I'm kind of considering it 6. And yeah, I'm gonna try to go in order from oldest to youngest, and then kind of talk about stuff as I go. So starting with what I believe might be my oldest WIP currently. The pattern is entitled Boohoo, and it was from a Halloween cross-stitch magazine. I just have a cutout of the pattern. I don't have the full page it was on, and I'm not entirely sure which magazine it was from. I'm thinking it might be a Just Cross-Stitch. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, it was from one of the Halloween issues, and it's a little owl. On the original pattern, it says Boohoo on his stomach, but I wanted it to be more of an all-year thing. So I'm doing little spirals. This is probably easily 10 plus years old at this point. Yeah, and I have this. And for it, I'm using some overdyes. I have no idea what the fabric is. This was a project that I was in high school. This is a project 100% sponsored by my mom. So I have Gentle Art Gold Leaf. So Crescent Colors is now, what are they now? I can't remember off the top of my head. And I need Classic Colorworks. I think that's it. I think they're Classic Colorworks. Yeah, but Eve's Leaves, Cocoa Bean. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using Holly for anything or if this is just in here as part of something else. And then Blue Jay, which is Gentle Art. It will also have these cute little buttons. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. For the eyes. So cute little flower buttons for the eyes. It's little. I am gonna try to, probably get this finished in the next year, hopefully, just so that it's done. Yeah, I found it like in a box with a bunch of other random stuff, so it's pretty old. I was not even, entirely aware that it had been misplaced. So yeah. And then, speaking of other things I found in a box that I kind of forgot about, this I'm considering one WIP. One of them is actually in progress, one is finished, and the other one I haven't even started. And it is a set from Little House Needleworks. It is the Once Upon a Time series. It came with the pattern and the thread packs. So this is the one I'm currently working on. I will take it out of the bag. Like I said, this is the one I'm currently working on. Again, it's Little House Needleworks. These were published in 2009. I will look and see if I can find them anywhere, but I'm not 100% sure. So, like I said, these were the thread packs. So it came with the pattern and then the Belsois silks, so I am doing them in the silks. Yeah, and this is so there were 3 of them in this set. I have all 3 of them, and this is Hope, and this is the one that I am currently working on. And I did not iron these. Again, I just found these. I'm not sure what fabric they're on. They're all in the same fabric. sponsored by my mom. And again, sorry, I did not iron these, and these have been sitting for a while. So this is what I have started on the castle, which is Hope. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what fabric these are on, like I said. Yeah, but it is in the Belsois silks. Yeah. And then the other ones are, this is 1 out of 3. This is Dream. And this one I actually have the stitching finished on. I'll, oh, that's upside down. What I will do is I'll eventually, you know, I'm going to try to finish these, and then I will like fully finish them all at the same time so I can get, you know, coordinating frames. So that one's cute. The little pumpkin carriage. I'm not honestly even entirely sure when I finished that one. I was in college at the time, but I'm not, you know, entirely sure when I started and finished that. And then I have the third one as well, which I have not started. And so this is actually number 2 out of 3. This is Believe, and it's Little Princess. Yeah, so I have those kind of all together, and I'm considering it one WIP because it is a set, and I'm, you know, partially done with those. So moving on to the next one. Like I said, I know I started that sometime in college. I'm not 100% sure as to when. Yeah, but again, I found those in a random box of things at my parents' house that had both of those in them. And then this one I have talked about before. Here, this is Little House Needleworks Old Nantucket. And I have actually been working on this one quite a bit lately. I'm not sure what the fabric is. I am using all of the called for floss on this. And like I said, I have been working on this quite a bit. So I have had the ship and the waves done since last summer, and then I've also kind of been chipping away at some of the stuff under it. So starting on like the words that are under it, I have the whale mostly done. I just have to fill in his little eyeball. And then I have most of the lady on here finished. I'm kind of like finishing out like the little bits of her as like I'm adding in other parts and other colors. And then I have a start on the house on this, and I'm kind of setting up the house to be fill-in when I don't want to have to think too much about it. Yeah, so I have a pretty good start on this one actually, and like I said, I have been working on it quite a bit lately, over the last maybe like 2 weeks. I do really enjoy working on this pattern, and I love the colors. Yeah, so every so often it does get some love. I do know that that is at least on a 30, I believe it's on a 32 count. It might be on a 30 count. So it is a 2 strands over 2 linen threads, which is why I don't work on it all the time. Because I have kind of switched to liking smaller count fabrics / higher count fabrics. So like 36 and 40 count fabrics. I say that as I have a massive project that's coming. But I do like being able to work with one strand of floss over 2. So that's why that one's not out all the time, but it does get like pulled out and worked on actually quite a bit right now. So, and then we are up to my most recent WIP, which I started very recently. I started this a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so this is Plum Street Samplers, the Wool and Flax Co. Yeah, love the little sheep on there and the little shepherdess with her big little, you know, her like huge hoop skirt. Very cute pattern. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I actually have gotten a halfway decent start on this recently. I know in one of my recent videos I talked about starting it, but I don't think I've talked previously about like actually getting there. Yeah, so I have the bottom border complete. I still have to do like the top border. I have a start on one of the sheep, and I have a start on some of the darker grass at the bottom. This I am doing on 36 count. This is on 36 count cappuccino. I do know that. Newer projects, I am aware of this these days. So this is 36 count cappuccino by Fiber on a Whim. Called for floss. 1/2 linen strands. Sorry if you can hear the sirens going on. I believe they are testing the weather system. Yeah, I'm gonna just continue. So again, this is Plum Street, the Wool and Flax Co. Okay, I am going to come back to this one. Okay, and then as I just talked about liking the higher count fabrics, so like the 36s and the 40s, I decided to blow up a pattern and I'm going to make a pillow out of it, which like people take patterns and make pillows out of them all the time. I am planning on this being more like a throw pillow. So what this pattern is, I don't have a picture of it. It was a Nashville 2020 freebie from Teresa Kogut, and it's you might have seen this other places, especially a couple years ago. It says create every day, has a little needle and some stitches on it. It is very cute. I was inspired by Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery. She talked about this when she was still doing the Stitchy Friends channel. She did it in like a rainbow kind of color, and so I was inspired by that, and I recently started this. I started this last week. So I am doing the rainbow, and it's going to say, like I said, it's going to say create every day. So far I started it with an E, and then I have the A done, and I have decided I am going to finish the, if you're looking at it, the right hand side of it. So I'm going to do the ET and then probably the everyday, and then unroll this and do the C and the R and like the needle and thread. This is on a 20 count lamb's wool linen. I am doing 3 strands over 2, so there's 10 stitches per inch on this. So it's gonna be big. And I'm very excited about it. But like I said, I plan on using it as a throw pillow. And the floss I'm using for this is the DMC variegated flosses. And for this project, because it is, you know, big stitches, big blocks of color, they are working out very nicely. So this is, here, I'll kind of hold this up. Maybe like that. So those are some of the other colors I'm using. And then I'm kind of just playing with colors as I go. I'll continue to talk about this and talk about this more when it's finished and let you know kind of what I ended up using for the colors for everything once it's completed. Yeah, but I'm really enjoying this. It's stitching up super fast. Yeah. So that is Create Every Day. It was the 2020 Nashville freebie. I did find it online at Fat Quarter Shop, had it available as the PDF download, and that's where I picked that up. So yeah, and then I found the 20 count lamb's wool linen on 1, 2, 3 stitch. Okay. So my last stitching project is a needlepoint project that I have not worked on in quite some time, but I know I have shown on here before. It is this flamingo canvas. It's meant to be like a sunglass case. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this when I'm done. I have quite a bit of the background done. And I should pull this out and work on it a little bit more, but I've been having a lot of fun stitching from charted patterns. So I have not been reaching for this a ton lately. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of where that's at. And then that lives in here. Lives in my project bag. Okay. So, moving on to my knitting WIPs. I believe I have 8. I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. If I'm wrong, I'll update it kind of just with some text. But I believe I have 8 knitting projects, and some of them are like almost done. So I'm going to pick up the basket that has all of my smaller projects in it, and then I will get into some of the bigger ones, which are kind of all sitting around me. I feel like this is when I got a little bit more overwhelmed. So starting with a project that I have not talked about yet, I joined Andrew Mowry Dre Renee Knits. She did, every year she does 2 knit alongs. She does one Memorial Day weekend roughly and then she does one in the fall. In the spring it is always a hat, in the fall it's always socks. This year she did the traveler hat, and it's one of her patterns. So we did the traveler hat. This is my first time doing one of these like long weekend challenges, so that's what the pattern looks like. And I didn't quite meet the deadline. I missed the deadline by like 12 hours, but I'm pretty proud of that. The only thing that is left is I need to weave in the ends and block this, but it's got a nice long brim, and then it kind of goes up from there. So I'm gonna block this, and then I'll, you know, show it and show all of the finalized stuff. This was a nitty gritty yarn, and it is a stock weight yarn, and I can't remember the name of the yarn base. I'll have it listed below. But the colorway is blue algae, and it's a gorgeous color. It's kind of here. That's maybe a little bit better. Maybe if I kind of, oh, I'm getting some weird lighting in here right now. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So it's kind of like got these deep blues, purples, greens. It's a really, really pretty color. And it's a very soft yarn. I'm very, very happy with that yarn. Yeah, so like I said, I started that Thursday of Memorial Day weekend during my lunch hour, and then I finished it on Memorial Day. It, like, if you wanted to be entered for like the prizes and stuff, it needed to be finished by, I want to say noon Eastern time, and I finished it at like 6 or 7 p.m. But I did finish it that day, just not quite on time, which is fine with me. Like I said, I'll talk about that one more in my next like regular video, because I'm really happy with that project and really happy that I did it. Yeah, so we'll talk about that more then. And then this is a mess, sorry, in advance. I will put in a picture. The book for this is downstairs, so I'm not gonna run and grab that. But I am still working on Harry the Ram. Yeah, it's starting to come together. I am starting to actually like sew the different pieces together. So I have the body sewn. It's not quite stuffed yet. And then I have one of the legs started. The needle is in it, but it looks like a total mess right now because I did leave very long tails to seam that. And then I started seaming and stuffing it, and I had just like a bowl of stuffing on my lap, and my my corgi, who loves to destroy his toys, saw a bowl of unslobbered stuffing and immediately stuck his face and grabbed a mouthful of it. So that needs to be done without him around in my office, and I just have not had time to get back to that. So I have all of the little pieces for the animal itself done. The little horns are adorable. These are really, I was really intrigued by this and how the shaping for those worked. It was really cool. Yeah, but like I said, it's a mess. Arm again with like the huge long tails for seaming. I have the ears done, the head, like I said, it looks like a total mess. And it kind of is. It will come together. So that's where I'm at on that one, hoping to finish that one sometime sort of soon. I just, like, I need time to sit and sew that together in a place where my dog can't reach the stuffing. And then I have my next project is a cowl that I have been working on for quite a while. This was a travel project for a long time for me. And it's a pattern that I'm just kind of playing with. There's no actual pattern. I'll post the yarn down below. Yeah, so that is kind of where that one is. And I'm just gonna knit till I run out of yarn, and then, not entirely, I'm gonna knit until I think I have enough yarn for just the bind off left, and then do the bind off and hopefully not run out of yarn. We're gonna word it that way. And then I have this project, which is a Hermione's Everyday Sock. The pattern is somewhere in my office. So I'm just trying to untangle this. I don't have it handy, but like I said, it's Hermione's Everyday Sock. I'm not 100% sure of the designer for that. I started this a couple of years ago, and it got put down when I was working on the shawls for my wedding. And this is all I have done, is this little bit. So I'm actually thinking what I might do is I might take this apart and restart it, purely because A, I'm not that far, and B, I'm kind of concerned that my gauge might have changed a little bit because it has been multiple years since I have worked on this. So I don't know, maybe what I'll do, maybe I'll knit like another 5-6 rows, see if it looks the same, and then kind of go from there. But this is potentially on my restart list. It's not that I'm going to not finish it, because I do need to make and finish an actual pair of socks, because I have a lot of sock yarn. Granted, I use a lot of it for shawls and sweaters as well, but I like buying sock yarn, so I need to make some socks at least once and get through a pair. Yeah, so that will be made into socks. I just need to figure out if I'm going to keep working on it or just restart it so that I don't have like gauge issues in it, because it was started so long ago. This is another one that I don't have a pattern for. I'm sorry. I'm bad at my knitting whips. This is the start of a striped half and half triangles wrap. I have a couple inches done. That's maybe 2-3 inches. So that's like the first color, and the yarn is the Puri Merino Wool by Brooklyn Tweed. That color specifically is muslin. I have my little swatches of what the colors are and what order they're going in, but I don't remember what everything is. I know that this top one is Puri muslin, and then this is oh gosh, I can't remember the name of this. Anyway, moving on. These two are again the same Puri, as well as this gray, lighter gray at the bottom, and then the mohair is actually 2 different colors of an Emma's mohair, and now I have a little chunk, like little mohair fiber in my mouth. Sorry about that. Yeah. There we go. I got it out. Woo. So yeah, I will list the colors and what I'm using in the description, but that's what the other colors for the stripes are going to be, and like kind of the order that I have them in. I will also post a picture of what that will look like when it's done. For that one, I think what's going to happen, I think this is going to just kind of sit for a little bit longer. I'm going to talk about some of my other patterns that I would like to get done first. And then once I finish one of those, that might turn into kind of like a pattern that sits, and when I have just a little bit of time, it's like easy enough to do that I can kind of just pick it up and put it down as necessary. But like I said, there's a couple other patterns that I'm a little bit closer to finishing that I would like to finish first. So another shawl that I have started is the Treats for You shawl. This is by Alina Apasova. I hope I am saying that right. I'm not doing it in the called for yarn, but I am doing it with some minis. So for this one, the minis are from Teeny Button Studios, and it was, I got like the mini packs that were part of her Legally Blonde launch a couple of years ago. And then for the main body color, I am using a mohair held double. This is an Emma's mohair. I'm not sure what color this is. I will write this down. Yes, but I'm using, like I said, I'm using the minis from that. This is the Emma's mohair, and this is in bell bottoms. So I'm using this held double with all of these like fun, bright, colorful minis. And then, yeah, so I have a little start on this. It feels so nice in my hands. I need to work on this again, but like I said, I need to finish some things. So I feel like because I have so many WIPs, stuff is not getting as much attention as I would like it to. Yeah. So WIPs that are kind of like on my short list to finish are obviously the Harry the Ram, and then the hat, because like it's almost done. But like one that actually still has quite a bit of knitting that I need to do, and I talked about this one recently and it has not gotten touched since I talked about it in the last episode I talked about it in, is the Zig sweater by Andrea Mowry. Like I said, it's in the same spot it was last time you guys saw it, but the body is done. I need to seam the underarms quick and then start on a sleeve. I need to do it. It needs to get sleeves. I'm hoping to finish this one by this fall. Sorry, there's like fluff flying everywhere. And it's like all over my face. Yeah. So this is like high priority to get started on the sleeves for my knitting so that I can hopefully finish this and be down one WIP and then have a little bit more time to focus on other projects. So that is where that one is. This is, I don't know, I've talked about this one a lot. The peach and the blue are the Bichet Bouche Le Lambswool in soft blue green and medium peach. And then the purple is Plymouth yarn. It's a worsted weight Plymouth yarn. I'll put the name down below. It is still available, and I know the colorway is denim, and that's actually recycled yarn. And I know I've talked about this a ton, which is why I'm kind of breezing over it. Yeah. I need to start on the sleeves. I need to take an hour and get those sleeves seamed. It will not take me long. There's not that many stitches to seam, and get the first sleeve on the needles and get going on that so I can finish it and have it for this fall and winter. And then I believe I'm down to my last WIP in the stitching world anyway. And that is Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry. I've been working on this one since 2022. It's a rather difficult pattern. You do have to pay attention. There's not a lot of rhythm to this lace. It's beautiful and it is fun to work on, but it's not a very rhythmic lace where you can kind of figure out the pattern, repeat, and just kind of eventually it just kind of takes over. Your hands just kind of take over and you don't like have to think about it. At least that's how I got with like the wedding shawls that I did. But every single row is different. So it's like you'll repeat it, and there's basically like 4 repeats because the lace goes like up and over the shoulders, and like down the back essentially. So you're knitting it circular, So it's like you're knitting, you knit the lace panel once, you knit across, you knit the second part of the lace panel, which is all the same, you knit to the back lace panel, across the back, and the last panel. So you knit it 4 times, but then you're moving on to something completely different, and it's like that for almost the entire pattern. But it is absolutely gorgeous. I am still obsessed with this yarn combination. It is so soft and delightful, and it's turning out beautiful. It's turning out absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely delightful. What I am using for this, I am using my all-time favorite yarn, which I have talked about only a couple of times on this channel. I am using Maraquita as my base yarn. This is, yeah, this is a fingering weight yarn. I love Maraquita. It is one of my favorites. I have a ton of it. I'm just gonna pull it out so that I have the wrapper. I have it in a bunch of colors. It is from the Alpaca Yarn Company. It is this color is Mushroom Bisque. Love this color. It's such a beautiful taupe. And it's 50% baby alpaca, 50% tinsel. I have a ton of it right there. It's fine. Yes, but this is the main body, like I said, Mushroom Bisque, and then I found some mohairs that go with it. There wasn't enough of one, but the 2 of them were very close, so to add to the complexity of the sweater, I am alternating these every other row. This is staying the same throughout. I am using an Adrophil Kidsetta and then the Shulana Kidsetta. I will post the numbers for these down below because it's just the numbers. If you can, get enough of one so you don't have to alternate like I am, but it is creating an absolutely beautiful fabric. And I am just really in love with this. I need to start taking more time for myself and hide from people for a little bit and get this done because it's gorgeous, and I'm gonna love it when it's complete. It is nice and soft, but I do need to really focus on this, which with a small dog, he's not like, he's a medium-sized dog, but he's still a puppy, and a young child, it is hard to have the time and the focus to sit and work on this, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And maybe what I'll do, maybe for the summer, this will be my lunchtime project when I can kind of hide a little bit, or at least just have one small being to take care of, you know, and try to get a row or 2 in every day on this. Yeah, but absolutely gorgeous. It is, like I said, it is a very difficult pattern. It's probably the most difficult knitting pattern that I've ever done. And I do like a lot of lace, and I do work on a lot of lace projects. Like I said, there's not a strong rhythm to this, so that makes it a little bit more difficult, and that you have to pay attention all of the time instead of just kind of letting your hands take over and do what needs to be done for the pattern. So those are my main stitching knitting WIPs. Yeah, there's like, I work on other random projects here and there. Sometimes stuff doesn't, you know, like especially like quick little projects, but yeah, these are kind of like my longer WIPs, ones that I've kind of found randomly. Yeah, and I'm going to try to get some of these done by the end of this year, and I will definitely, you know, maybe update you end of this year, beginning of next year, and see kind of where my WIPs are at. Maybe like I'll do an update to this video, and then also maybe do like another like WIP parade at some point, but I would like to get a lot of these projects done in a somewhat normal time frame, especially now that like I'm kind of aware of them, because even though I don't have anywhere near the most WIPs in the world, there are people with quite a few more than me. For me, this is too many. you know, everyone says it's very personal, and that's so true. But I'm not a person that can have a ton of WIPs. Like I said, even just having these all around me, like I'm feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, so that's just kind of how I view it and kind of where I like to keep my WIP count. I'm definitely someone that enjoys finishing projects and being able to use them and enjoy the fully finished thing. So yeah, let me know down below if you have any questions about my WIPs, and also tell me about your oldest WIP. I mean, mine are pretty old, some of them. So we'd love to hear kind of what you're working on and what you guys, you know, how long some of your projects are just hanging out. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you stick around for some of my other videos. Yeah, that's all I have. And yeah, hope to see you guys all soon. Thanks. Bye.